Good morning. This is your friend Velma Hagar. Here's looking at you, kid. We're going to talk about your little plot of ground that you were given. You know, every one of us at our birth is born with a plot of ground. God calls it our lot in life. And some of us are born with beautiful plots that have everything planted for us. They have silver spoons in their mouth. I have some grandchildren like that. And then other people, like me, are born with nothing. I mean, we had nothing. We never even owned a home. The whole time I was growing up, we never owned a home. Are you kidding? We didn't even own the chicken coop we lived in. We lived in other people's chicken coops. But you know what, you guys? Let me tell you something. If you take that little plot of land that God has given you and you work it and you take care of it, it will grow. Now, it doesn't grow overnight. It takes years sometimes to max it out, but it will max out. You will grow your little garden. You will, if you're faithful with a little. The word says if you're faithful with a little, you'll be ruler over much. And I have watched this happen. I had such a little teensy-weensy bit. You know, my dad was a street person the last 10 years of his life. And my mother only had a 10th grade education, so she could never have a decent job. She worked washing dishes, she worked picking fruit, she worked helping people clean. But she worked her little butt off. She took care of us. And the thing I think that stands out that I would say is the difference between the ones who are out there, no matter how old they get. And I think some of them they have mental issues. Some of it's self-imposed mental issues. They do drugs and they fry their brains and then they can't think clear. But some of them are just, they're shiftless. They don't want to do anything. They want life to hand it to them, everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. They don't want to work. And you know, I'll tell you, probably my biggest offense, if I had to say one thing that just bothers me, when I drive past those miles and miles and miles of street people here in California, miles and miles of them, I don't look down on them because they're street people. But when I go past those places and they look like pigsties, they're filthy. They have all, okay, so they have junk. We had junk too. We lived with it. That's how we lived. We had 3-legged tables in our house. But it was tidy. It was clean. It was well kept. And you know what? That's why we got out of there. That, in a nutshell, is the reason why some people stay on the streets and others get off. You have to be faithful with what God gave you. If you have a little house and you really want a big one and so you don't take care of it because you don't like it anyway, you're never going to get your big house. If you have an old car and you drive around in it dirty because you don't like it anyway and it's dirty, you know what? You're always going to drive an old dirty car. You're going to have to take care of what God gave you, or He's never going to give you anything better. And this goes for your family too. You know, I am so amazed at the language that people use with each other when they're supposed to be in love, or out in the streets. I hear people dropping the F-bomb. I know I'm a dinosaur, but please don't use that around me. I don't like it, and don't fart in front of me either. I don't like that, or belch. I don't like it. I think it's disrespectful and rude, and I think if you're doing that in front of your mate, shame on you. Now I just think we owe each other a respect of keeping ourselves clean, keeping our home clean, keeping our car clean, being a good employee, striving for excellence. Don't you think our Father in heaven would be tidy and clean? Can you picture Him? Again, we lived outside a good part of my life, but you know what? Every place we lived was kept. It was tidied up. Everything was in order. There's another scripture I want. If you're faithful with a little, you'll get a lot, or you'll be ruler over much is another thing He says. And, you'll get a lot and ruler over much is the same thing, really. So what you decide to do with your plot of life is where you'll end up. I hate to say this, but most of the people in the street deserve to be there. Because if they didn't deserve to be there, they would work their way out of there. And I hear the word work. You would work your way out. You know, so many of them, they don't want it. I'm not going to wash windows, and I'm not going to work for $10 an hour. I'm worth more than, oh yeah, sure you're worth more than that. So you live in the streets rather than work for $10 an hour, or anything an hour, $7 an hour, rather than live in the streets. To me, you know. So I just want to say, strive for excellence in your life. You know, make a decision that everything you do, you're going to do it well. I don't care if you're digging ditches. Be the best doggone ditch digger in the world, and you'll go right to the top. You'll be ordering those guys around that dig the ditches. I don't care if you're a trash pickup. Be the best one. Keep everything neat. Do it well. Show up on time. You know, this workforce today, you guys, I'm telling you, you know, my son owns Movocash, and he has a lot of millennials working for him. And I'm sorry, but you know what? They're always sick. You know, my mother worked 30-some years, never called in a sick day in 30-some years. Is there anybody like that anymore? Is there anybody that's willing to work hard without thinking they have more coming than they do? What happened to those people? Be one of those people. It's really interesting because I watch a new person would come into the company with that new crisp attitude about the company, and you just can watch them go right to the top. You'll float right to the top. Calling in sick because we'll have a sick day, so I think I'll take it. No, you know, my Phil, when he was in the military for years, he worked for the Air Force for 32 years and 4 years with the Navy. He saved all of his sick days with the Air Force. When he retired, he got 6 months worth of pay for all the sick days they paid him for that he never took. What happened to those people? Anyway, I sure didn't mean to talk about employees today, but I did. You can tell that I'm really on a rampage. I'll tell you what, this stuff that's going on in the world has got me so keyed up. And you know, God says, fret not, it will only cause harm. We need prayer. We need prayer in this country. So I hope you are seeking God and praying and asking Him to intervene, because boy, do we need Him. Now, I want to get back to this excellent. Keep your little garden tended. Water it, weed it, fluff it up, take the dead leaves off, snip the flowers off that try to bloom that didn't. Take care of it and watch your garden prosper. Now, if you can take those words and put that into your life and analyze it like that, use it like that, you'll be surprised what happens in your home, at work. Okay, I've been off on a rampage. You know, I actually did one first and deleted it because I was ranting and raving. You should have heard me. I deleted it and started over. Okay, you guys. And you men out there, I want to wish you guys a happy Father's Day. God bless all of you. You know, I had a poem I wanted to read you, and doggone, I've lost it. But it said something like this. He wants to be like his dad. Will it rest gently on your soul or your mind if that little boy that you're setting an example for wants to be like you? And that could be your grandson too. Make sure that you're setting an example for the young man in your life. You know, fathers are so absent today. Be one of those fathers that's there for your sons, your grandchildren. Make a difference. Okay, have a blessed day, and until next time, buy my book, Hidden Treasures in Secret Places. And until next time, this is Velma Hagar, bidding you a blessed day and reminding you, clean up your doggone space and keep your garden puffed up. Bye.